Hi everyone, welcome to Clutch Entertainment today, and today we're going to be talking about what is weather and why is it so fascinating. I've always had like a little bit of a hobby of loving weather in general, and I'm going to also talk about some facts and stuff within weather about like some things you may not know. I'll talk about some of the clouds, what the sky color means, like temperature, the types of precipitation, wind stuff, severe weather stuff, types of storms. And also, I'll have some random facts at the end for you. But we'll go through these, and it's going to be a lot of interesting things you may not have known, or just not that's not common knowledge that you know about weather. It's definitely like as you can see in the background, lightning is my favorite like weather event. I love watching the weather. It's just like so cool to see like lightning outside and when it's raining and such. And I love hearing the thunder. But it's something really cool, and that's why I have that as a background here. So we're gonna go right into first of all, we're gonna start out with the cloud explanation. So we'll go to the clouds here, and so first of all, we're gonna talk about the clouds. So first we have the cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are the feathery clouds that are like mostly ice crystals, and they mean a change is on the way. So basically, it means like the weather is going to be transitioning from either hot to cold, cold to hot, cloudy to not cloudy, just pretty much a weather change in general. Then we have the cirrostratus, which basically means that it's going to rain or snow within 24 hours. It's typically like a easy way to predict what the weather is going to be tomorrow if you look and see these clouds. And then there's the cirrocumulus clouds next. It just means it's like fair outside, meaning average weather, and it's just going to be cold. It says if you live in the tropical region, this could be a sign of an approaching hurricane. So got to keep your eye out if you're on the coastlines. And then we have the mid-level clouds, the altocumulus. That means the weather is going to be fair. It's typically kind of a white or patchy gray layers. And we have the altostratus, as you can see the sun there in the middle. It looks like it's going to be rainy or snowy coming up. And then we have the nimbostratus, which is gloomy with continuous rain or snow. So typically when you get a gloomy day, you get a lot of rain, a lot of snow. It's typically nimbostratus skies all day. And it's one of those days where you're just like, man, I'm tired today because like it's just no sunlight. That's the type of cloud for that. And then we have cumulus clouds. So cumulus clouds are another fair weather type cloud. They're one of those days where you like lay out and have like a blanket on the field or on the yard, and you lay back and you look up at the sky and you see the cumulus clouds, and then you look for shapes in the clouds. Yeah, but that's mostly fair clouds. Then we have the stratus clouds. The stratus clouds are usually fair weather clouds. They kind of look like the altostratus, except they're a little more dense, I would say. And they end up being like a gloomy feel to the day. And then also there's the next one's cumulonimbus, which is basically means like severe weather's coming, like rain, hail, tornadoes, such like that. And that's like usually you see those out in front of the rain or thunderstorms. And then there's the stratocumulus, which means it's fair weather for now, but there could be a storm on the way possibly. So those are the types of clouds out there, and there's a lot of different clouds as you could see. I'll definitely attach this link in the description below, but we're going to talk about sky color next. So sky color is mainly like either blue, orange, red, yellow, green. A lot of the times we have like in the morning, for example, when you wake up, you see like a red sky. And there's always a saying, red sky in morning, sailors take warning, red sky at night, sailors delight. So usually that means like if you have a red sky in the morning, it means there's going to be a lot of storms coming probably. It's going to be like stormy weather. It's just the clouds are near the horizon because they usually come from the west to the east, and the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So it typically gives you like a little bit of idea or something that the weather's going to change or something's going to happen. But when it's like a red sky at night, it just means the weather's going to be fair and such like that. And then as far as the blue sky is reflective of the air temperature and the water from below on the earth, because the earth is mostly water, so it's a reflection of the water. And also blue sky means it's just going to be normal or fair weather. That's typically what our atmosphere looks like, and it's typically what we always look for when we say, oh, it's going to be a nice day today. So we just don't see any clouds or anything. And then next we have like a green sky. So a green sky is more towards like during a thunderstorm that's going to be like hail. So like if there's going to be a lot of hail or something, the clouds get full of ice crystals, full of water, and they'll just turn like a greenish hue, greenish dark color hue, and that means it's going to be really bad weather. So you really want to get inside whenever you see a greenish sky outside. So those are the types of sky colors. Now we're going to go into like temperature. So like there's a number of different ways we measure temperature. So temperature is like Celsius and Fahrenheit. So I know here in the U.S. we measure it with Fahrenheit. Obviously, it's imperial, and the rest of the world does metric. So the metric is Celsius. There's actually an equation. I don't know off the top of my head. It's like 9/5 F or something like that times 30 or plus 32 or something. That gets you Fahrenheit or something, and then it's opposite for Celsius. But typically, a lot of people just calculate it online. But for Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius is for freezing point, and 100 degrees Celsius is for boiling point for Celsius. And Fahrenheit is 32 degrees Fahrenheit for freezing, and 212 degrees for boiling. So those temperatures give you an idea of how hot or how cold it can be. So boiling is typically you're cooking something. If it's freezing, then you're typically freezing something when it's 32 or below. So rain and snow differentiate based on the weather. And now we're going to talk into precipitation types as I'm going into this. So when you have rain, you typically have rain between any average temperature between could be 32 degrees all the way up to however high the temperature gets. And snow and ice typically come anywhere between, could be up to like 36 or 37 degrees air temperature outside, all the way down to however low it gets. And now I have a precipitation type page here. Let's show that. So as you can see, like rain is frozen precipitation that melts into rain. So it starts out cold up here on the top, goes into the warm air, and then it becomes rain. And then when it's freezing rain, the cold air is on top, then it hits the warm air, and then it hits the cold air as it gets lower in the atmosphere near the surface, and it becomes frozen. It becomes freezing rain. And then we have sleet, which freezes a little higher up. The warm air is a little less. And then we have snow, where it's just complete cold air. There's no warm air at all. So that's typically when you get, like a big blizzard or a big storm or something like that. But basically, the cold air is a big, important thing that factors into everything. So cold air is typically always at the top. There's always cold air at the top part of the atmosphere. Then there's warm air on top of that, and then there's cold air below. There's a lot of different atmosphere types. I'm not going to really go into that. But the different stratosphere and different types of spheres, so there's different atmospheric types. Like I said, I'm not going to go into that. But they dictate whether the area is warm or cold based on if the specific sun's rays are going through certain ones, and that's how the weather's affected. And then we have wind. Wind is basically a mixture of pressure systems, and it's cold air to hot air to cold air. So there's something called a low pressure. And a low pressure means that there's something called a barometric pressure, which determines it brings the pressure low enough where you can have precipitation. And that's what low pressure does. It makes it, air becomes more moist. It becomes more apt to have rain and weather or snow. And then there's the high pressure, which means clear weather, clear skies, because there's not much moisture in the air. It's harder to hold humidity in the air. So that's what we have for cold air and hot air. And that's basically how our low pressure and high pressure systems work. So low pressure moves counterclockwise. So basically the air flows in a counterclockwise position like this. So it goes like in counterclockwise. And then a high pressure goes in clockwise. So basically they follow each other and become like cold front, warm fronts. So like warm fronts and cold air, and warm fronts and cold fronts meet, and they end up clashing together and the pressure systems follow each other. So it's called diffusion. So diffusion is basically when a cold air follows hot air and hot air follows cold air. So when a low pressure comes through, you're going to have a high pressure after that. And when a high pressure comes through, you're going to have a low pressure after that. So that's how weather alternates. It's how it switches between one another. And that's why we have wind also. Wind is the way weather changes and the way weather moves, the cold fronts, hot, warm fronts, and such like that. So that's what wind is. And now we're going to talk about some of the severe weather. So there's a number of different severe weather situations. There's severe thunderstorm watches, which means the conditions are possible for a thunderstorm warning. And then there's a thunderstorm warning, which means either 60 miles per hour wind gust or higher, or hail, or a lot of lightning too. And then we have like a blizzard warning, which means like 30 plus 30 plus mile an hour winds along with a wind chill. And the wind chill tells you basically what it feels like outside with the cold wind, like the air temperature plus the wind. And this is opposite with heat index. So heat index is the air temperature with the humidity outside, and it makes it feel like it's warmer than it is. So if it's like 100 degrees and the humidity's like got a dew point of 70, it's going to feel like it's in the 110s and such. So that draws you into like a heat advisory or heat warning. That's when you got to take it more easy outside. Or in the winter, when you have the wind chill, you got to take it easy outside because you don't want to get caught in like a really cold wind or something, and then it freezes your face and your hands and get frostbite and all that stuff. So those are many of the different warnings. And then next we have like the different storm types. So there's ice storms, there's thunderstorms, there's snowstorms, there's blizzard storms, there's hailstorms, there's tropical storms, there's hurricanes. There's also like frost warnings, frost advisories, heat advisories. There's also something called a squall line or gale force of wind, which means it's just a giant wind barrier that's coming through an area. And then there's also windstorms, which is just typically a bunch of wind blowing around dust and causes a dust storm and such. So those are the many different weather warnings and types. And then now we're going to the random facts, which the random facts are kind of cool, I think, myself. I'm looking at these. So one of the first random facts I want to come up with is actually lightning strikes. I did some research on this, and it's average of 6 million lightning strikes a day. I mean, that's a lot of lightning strikes. I mean, 6 million times a day, lightning hits the earth. And it's also 5 times hotter than the sun, which that's hard to believe, isn't it? Because the sun's pretty hot. And then we have another funny statement. So if you're a man, watch out for that lightning, because 85% of lightning strikes strike people like men, and only 15% strike women. And another fun fact is it's only 90% of people get struck by lightning survive, which is a really crazy stat also. So I have some like hottest temp, cold temp stats. So the hottest temperature on Earth ever recorded was 134 degrees Fahrenheit. I wouldn't want to be there. It would feel really bad. And then the lowest temperature on Earth was negative 128.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So either way, you're getting cooked or you're getting frozen into an ice cube. Like you can't even walk outside in either of those temperatures, or you'll be dead pretty much. And both those, like, so the hottest one happened in 1913, and the coldest one happened in Antarctica in 1983. And then we have the most rain in one spot. It actually happened in Maryland in 2007. It says 23 inches of rain in 1 minute. Like that's incredible. Like I cannot believe a place gets that much rain in 1 minute. And then we have the windiest place, which is Chicago, which has the most wind all year, based on all the fronts that come through, all the lakes around Chicago and such, all the different air masses that cross through there. That really plays a big part in how the rain and wind and everything goes there, and how the air masses move around, the cold fronts, warm fronts, high pressure, low pressure. All those different weather events go through Chicago, and that pushes all the wind through. So that's why they're the windiest. And then the last fact I have here is the average amount of time for the sun to hit Earth is 8 minutes. That is incredible how fast that is. The sun's rays goes all the way to Earth in 8 minutes. So like when you're outside, you're getting the sun's rays from 8 minutes ago. That's crazy. That's hard to believe. But hopefully, with all these different weather stats and such, I was able to provide you with some really cool information, really cool stuff, maybe a weather you didn't know. I wanted to present this because I really like weather and I'm passionate about weather sometimes. I like to check it out myself. So if you have any additional comments or questions, please leave in the comment section below. And if you can like, subscribe, that would be great. And thank you very much for watching Clutch Entertainment today, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.